Okay. Okay, good.
All right. I would like to thank Prof Taj for giving me this opportunity to to share my experience, my little experience actually as a Springer Nature Books editor and author. So some of you might have know me, so some of you guys might have not heard of my name. So I'm Aqila. So I'm a senior lecturer, and my expertise is in mycology. So basically, my field, I contributed to the program of biodiversity conservation and management under the Faculty of Science and Marine Environment, University Malaysia Terengganu. So um, so I was born in KL, raised in Selangor, and married a Terengganu man. So here I am here in Terengganu. So I'm a former alumni for my own program, biodiversity. So in terms of my expertise, my background is in mycology, particularly in fungal ecology, fungal diversity, ethnomycology, and fungal phenology. So I can be contacted via that email link. So I'm enjoying nature, food, arts, culture, and music. So yeah, here are some of my photos while I'm working on my PhD, the right photo when I did my PhD in London, and I managed to basically found a very interesting mushroom species. So my field study, my field work was at Windsor Great Park. So basically this is under the authority of the Queen of England. So you have to get a permit in order to conduct study here. So for another two photos, these are my recent photos working with the communities in Terengganu. So when it all started for me becoming an author and editor of the book, so it started in November 2016 when Prof Taj offered me to become, to join basically, to contribute a chapter in Kenyir uh, book, Kenyir academic book. So basically it's all about Kenyir studies. And then after that, after a few meetings, together with the authors and the chief editor at that time, Prof Taj, so Prof Taj obviously offered me to become an editor. So at first, I I was contemplating whether I want to become one or not because I don't have any experience. I haven't been involved in any book production making. I did contribute to a chapter previously to another local book. However, I didn't have any experience becoming an editor. So Mr. Prof. Touch actually told me, um, just join. Um, all I need from you is your determination to do work. I can help you out. I will help you out. I will assist you in editing and all those works by editor. So I told myself if I didn't take this opportunity, probably in the future I wouldn't get the same offer like before. I mean, like when he offered me the to become an editor. So I said, so this is I would like to challenge myself, and I agreed with this offer. And from there onwards, there was no turning back. And I'm so glad that I took his offer to become an editor. So along the way, when I was involved with the first Springer Nature book, so basically, at first, the book was not meant to be published by Springer Nature at first, because when we discussed at the early meetings, we wanted to submit the manuscripts to be compiled as a book for local publisher. we sent the proposal, and we have waited for months in order to get the feedbacks. And unfortunately, we didn't get a good feedbacks from the publisher. So from there onwards, we decided to go large. I mean, we tried to we tried to send the proposal to the international publisher. Okay, so I will talk about that later on. Explain. So basically, I want to show you the photos here. So along the way, along the process, you can see there are a lot of photos of us involving foods. But we were having like breakfast session together, and then after the breakfast, we have like we did brainstorming, we did discussion. It's not just within editors. It also involved a lot of authors that contributed to the book. So for the first, okay, so basically all of these photos are basically from the first book project, which are the Greater Kanye Landscapes book. So about this book, the original idea basically was initiated by our beloved Prof Taj. So at first, we were just discussing about to compile all of the studies from different perspectives in Kenya. But later, when we during a lot of discussions, the idea was later expanded throughout, and the new title came out, which are the Greater Kenya Landscapes, ranging from the mountains up to the ocean studies. So so I believe that from one simple idea, we can come out with a very large ideas that may involve a lot of people to join and will cover a lot of studies. So this book project actually took about 2 years to be realized, starting from 2016 to 2018. And you can see the list of editors, Prof Taj as the chief editor, followed by myself, and we have Dr. Nozalipa from the same program as mine, and we have the Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Safi'i Lola as well. So basically, as I told you earlier, the book proposal did not receive any feedback from the local publisher. So therefore, we came with an idea, why don't we go international? There are several lists of international publishers available, and I have contacted like 3 or 4 publishers in order to get information regarding publishing our book with them. So basically, a lot of information that I've gotten from them, and then you have to decide which publisher is good for you to send your manuscripts and get it published. Because some publisher, they require you to pay some amount of money to use their company to publish your book. But somehow, Springer Nature is, for me personally, they quite they don't actually charge us, and then all they require actually is the copyrights of the book. I mean the chapters, the manuscript that were submitted to them, and then basically they will provide remuneration to you based on the number of books printed. Okay, so for Springer Nature, we opted for Springer Nature compared to other international publisher because they don't simply charge us. Okay, and then because of the failure to submit the book proposal to the local publisher, we sent to Springer Nature. We submitted the book proposal on December 2016. So because this was our first experience submitting our manuscript to the international publisher. So basically, it was a wrong time actually to submit the proposal at the end of the year. Why? Because December is a festive month for the Westerners. So uh, they just receive it and they acknowledge it. But then they reply to me that they will have a look at the proposal after the new year, on the following year, on 2017, because, you know, Christmas followed by the New Year holiday. And then uh, positive feedback was received from Springer in April 2017. Yeah, it took some time because from December 2016 to April, so it took quite a few months for them to discuss and as well as because they have like long holidays, they have spring holidays and all. So we received a good feedback on April, and when we received the positive feedback, there comes the process where they send a proposed offer to us. The proposed offer means they are setting up terms to be agreed by both parties, which means the offer where they mention about the copyright things, they mention about the amount of remuneration that we are getting, and then um, we basically need to make a deal. Not necessarily we have to agree straight away on the proposed offer that they came up with. We have to read it, you know, carefully, and then we have to make sure there are win-win situation between us and the company. So, talking about remuneration, basically, they are going to pay us money. Yes, but for our situation, for both books that I co-edited, this book and the other book, we don't actually receive, we don't agree to receive remuneration in terms of, I mean, in money. We propose to them so that the amount of the remuneration to be converted into books so that we could get more books and to be distributed to others as much as we can. So we don't actually get money, even though you can opt for the money to be sent into your account, but we didn't take the money. We just converted it to books so that we can spread more, we can give it to more people for knowledge transfer. And then, so basically this book originally covers a lot of studies, like I mentioned, in Greater Kenya, okay? And they cover, basically, this book covers 24 chapters. We have 24 chapters in 3 different subthemes. We have physical environment, we have biological environment, and management themes. So if you want to get more info on this book, I believe they have a free version of the PDF of the book in the Springer Nature website. You can have a look. Okay. So and then this was basically it took 2 years to finish this book, to get this book realized. You know that preparing a book to publish a book is not an easy thing, as they have its own difficulties. It took some time. If you think that by submitting a chapter to publish a book and to get it published within less than a year, I don't think it is possible. So it is that hard. Yeah. Although this book project, the Greater Kenya Landscape Book Project, was our first time dealing with the international publisher, so it took quite some time for us to digest and to learn how things work for publishing this book. And then I would like to introduce to you the second book published by Spring in Nature, where I co-authored together with Candy Vera, and also Prof Touch. So this book was released in e-version in December 2020, and the hard copies started to were released in April 2021. So um, when I mentioned myself became a Bidan Terjun editor, so probably Peter, not sure what is Bidan Terjun. But anyway, so basically, when I mentioned to you earlier about Greater Kenny landscape, so there is one theme regarding orang asli element were previously added in this book. However, Prof Touch, he suggested to publish another book especially on orang asli element. So I do have one paper on orang asli in Sungai Berua, Hulu Terengganu. So I retracted my paper from this Greater Kenny landscape and submitted for this book, Resource Use and Sustainability of Orang Asli. At first, I was not involved as an in editorial team for the book because I feel like okay, I want to take a break for a while because I've been dealing with a lot of things to publish the Greater Kanye book, and I have been waiting for I've been asking progress from the editor, especially from Candirella, because she works on the editing and helping out Prof Touch with arranging the manuscripts and dealing with Springer Nature editor. And when I asked her, I asked her the progress of the book in 2020 during the MCO as a PKP. So when I asked Candy, so what's the progress of the book? Because I was wondering, because I have one paper in the book. So, of course, when you submitted a chapter, a manuscript to a book or an article for a journal, you might want to know the progress. You want to know whether it is rejected or accepted, or you want to know when exactly the paper will be published, right? So that's what I did. I asked Candirilla, and she said that the progress of the book is whole, being whole for a while because no one can assist with dealing with the Springer Nature editor, and then the fact that Cantarella also at that time had a situation. She just graduated from UMT and she needs to take care of her family at Sarawak. And then I during that MCO situation, all of us are, like work from home, and then we don't actually we have ample of time to do things. And I basically, in short, I offered myself and asked Prof Touch if he wanted an assistant to help with dealing with the Springer Nature editor, because I feel obligated, I feel responsible because I have one paper for the book, so I want my paper to be published. So why don't I offer myself help with the editing and all? And then contacted the representative from the Springer Nature and Deal so that the process will start again. So this book is very, very challenging compared to the previous Greater Kenya book because this book involved more than 10 local and international universities and an ex-government staff residing in the US who contribute to the chapter of the book. When I compared this book with the previous book, the Greater Kenya book, basically most of the authors were from UMT. So, and then for the book, we were really excited to because this is the special thing about this Greater Kenya landscape book is because um, there was a logo of UMT added, at the side and at the side of the Greater Kenyir book. This is because most of the authors are from UMT, and when we um, ask Springer whether they can add on our UMT logo in this book, and they're more than happy to have it added at the side of the book. So this is somehow we can say that this could be a signature book because it is not easy to get our logo added in one of the well-known international publisher. So I'm really, really happy about that. And talking about this Orang Asli book, when I got a green light from Prof Touch to help out with the editing for the book, so I have started to contacted the person in charge at the Spring and Nature book and asked for the updates. And within 2 weeks, when I first contacted the editor of the Spring and Nature book, they have sent us a proposed offer um, where the same situation like the previous book, the proposed offer are the terms set um, for the benefit of two parties. Excuse me. And the fact that we have published the first Greater Kenyir book with them, they have given us a very, very generous offer in terms of additional number of books that we are getting from them. And then each of the author of the book basically could get one hard copy version, which when I total up the number of the books that we received, including all authors, not just the corresponding authors, it might the total might add up to hundreds of books being printed and sent to us. So we were so happy because of the due to the generous offer. And the ebook version was first released in December 2020, and it took months after that for the hard copy version to reach us. Okay. So basically, these are the responsibilities of book editor. I listed all down based on my own personal experience, and I believe there are a lot of um, attendees today probably have published a lot of books compared to me. So these are probably some of the responsibilities that must be done by each of the book editor, not just the chief editor, but all editors for the book. So first, you have to read all the manuscript. Obviously, from there onwards, you're able to accept and reject and advise authors on content pieces. And then together with other editors, you must create sub-themes for the book chapters based on the submissions of manuscripts from the authors. And then you have to do the proofreading, you have to verify facts, and you have to check the plagiarisms. You have to keep track of schedule dates. You have to be in contact with the publisher and their production team for updates and galley proofs. So for these tasks in our team, for both books, Greater Kenyir and Orang Asli, myself, I have been in contact with the Spring in Nature, and all of the informations, my communications will be shared with my editorial team so that everyone will get the same information. And then we have to make sure the compliance with legal requirements, so especially on copyright and libel laws, and this one to maintain good working relationship with authors and other key staff. Yes, we must not have issues. If we have issues, we have to sit down together. We have to basically talk, you have to share everything. So in order to make sure that the process will run smoothly. So in my personal experience, I think being a Springer Nature book author or editor can be a challenging but rewarding experience because it offers an opportunity for us to showcase our work to global audience because Springer Nature itself is an international publisher, and we can get benefit from the support and guidance of experienced publishers and editors. In order to realize the book, definitely it requires dedication and hard work. So for every single book, I believe whoever have experience to publish book, you have to have deadlines, you have to have milestones, and you have to make sure the standards or the quality of the book will be maintained. And then but overall, there are hurdles along the way, but when you get your book, when you receive the book, so this satisfaction feeling, these happy feelings, I mean, sama juga macam when you finish your PhD, and then when you get the scroll of your PhD, you will be very, very happy, and suddenly you forgot about the hurdles, the challenges that you have faced previously, but the same feeling when you get your book published, whether with local publishers or international publishers. So the feeling of having your own book published, so it is something that you cannot basically imagine the satisfaction. So the fourth point that I want to say here is I believe communication is very important. Whether you communicate with the authors, you communicate with the editors in your team, or when you communicate with the publisher, the people from the company. So it's one thing that is very important for you to keep the positive momentum in order to publish a book. You do as well need a balance because as a lecturer, as an academic staff, you need to find balance between work time and family commitments as well, because when you are focusing into work, when you're too focused, sometimes you tend to forget other things. So we need to find balance between that. And I quote this sayings by Jeremy Gilley: everything starts with one step, or one break, or one word, or one day. So for me, I think you have to start with one step. Okay, I think if I not agree to get, or if I didn't take the offer by Prof Taj to become the editor of the first book, The Greater Canoe, I didn't think I wouldn't get the same offer later. So gain experience by offering yourself to become an author or an editor of a book, be it locally or internationally. So I think we need to acquire the necessary skills to become a good author or a good editor, especially in writing and communication skills. So we have to read widely and familiarize ourselves with different styles of writing. This is very, very true because when I read a lot of manuscripts for the book, so it's not just contain a scientific paper. Some of the papers are in the form of review, and some of the papers are in the form of personal experience where they have no citation whatsoever. So you have to familiarize yourself with the nature of the manuscript. If you don't understand anything, you may want to refer to the experts of the field and ask for their opinions. And then I remember Prof said for the first book, we have to save 100 titles submitted to us when the first time when we opened the slot to authors in UMT, we received 100, basically 100 ideas, 100 titles. However, along the way, when we asked for the abstract of the ideas, suddenly the number becomes half, like 50 titles only submitted to us. And then the next milestone, when we ask for the paper, the manuscript to be sent to us, suddenly it becomes half again from the 50. And that's why we ended up having 24 chapters in the first Creative Canoe book. So commitment, you have to be committed. So you have to commit yourself until the end, not just sending an idea and then became quiet. So you have to send an abstract and submit a manuscript. And then the fourth point is I learned to build a network. When we started getting papers, ideas from authors, so basically we have new contacts and we have to contact them from time to time to talk to them, to give feedbacks, and then always inform all of the the corresponding authors about the progress of the book. So there are like a small network happen there. And last but not least, you have to learn to be persistent, because becoming a book editor, it actually takes time and perseverance. So we have done with 2 books, and now we would like to invite everybody to join us for our 3rd book. So the 3rd book, it is going to so basically it's about the title of the book. The proposed title is The Greater City Wetland Sapphire of the East. So looking at the title is The Greater City Wetlands. So everyone who have conducted studies or have data on Greater City Wetlands, you're welcome to contribute to the book. So this is the poster prepared earlier for to invite everyone to join us. So there are 3, 4, 5, 10 sub-themes provided, and the deadline to submit your abstract is on the 15th of March 2023. And for the book milestones, the first deadline will be on the 15th March. So we have less than a month to go. If you are interested, so I will share the link later on. You can click the link and you can register yourself and submit your idea in the form of an abstract, a very short abstract for us, so that we could get some idea what kind of research that you have conducted or reviews, so that and then you will be added in a WhatsApp group, so that every single updates will be basically shared in the group. So these are the milestones. So we hope to submit the proposal to Springer on the 30th of April. Once we collected or we compile all of the ideas and send the submission to Springer. And we hope by 1st of June, we could get full manuscript by all authors. And we hope to submit the full master draft submission to Springer in January 2024. As I told you before, the duration of publishing a book, it's not it's not like in a short of time. It might take years to publish one. For the first book, it took 2 years. Same like the second book. So I hope that with this third book, we'll be able to fasten everything, and the fact that they have they know us already, that they have, they know some familiar names, and then so I hope we can go a bit fast this time to publish this book. So I would like to invite everybody who are interested to join us for the book. So that's all from me. If you want to ask anything, feel free to write it down in the chat box. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Dr. Aqila. We have one question from Prof Effendi.
Oh.
And Prof boleh unmute. Okay, boleh Prof.
Okay, boleh.
Sila Prof.
Okay.
We try to answer your question.
So I have some idea on how to diagnose fish disease cases. Okay, because I found that there are no books on how to settle or solve a problem of fish mortality, especially in Malaysia. And the books available in the markets are not related to case studies. So with these ideas, so how do we proceed? They say to proceed for the first step to develop a team. So I want to listen from you first.
Sila Kila, you jawab dulu, then I follow up whatever the gaps.
Okay, Prof, thank you for the question. Saya rasa if there is no publication whatsoever or anything related to the relevant title that you mentioned just now, so I think it's a very, very good way to it's a good thing to publish. If you want to, because I have experience with Springer Nature only so far for the international publisher, okay, you can go to the website Springer Nature, and then they have a section where the author or editor, where you can send the book proposal online. You can I did save the link.
Yeah, I saw it just now.
Okay. So basically, you have to approach them. There is one link at the Springer Nature website where you can fill in your information. They don't need the proposal at first. They just want to know the idea of the book. So definitely in a book idea, there must be an issue. There must be a question why you want your idea to be published. So you have to provide the explanation on that, and then in what context you want to have the book. The content of the book, and then who are going to benefit the book for sure. Then this kind of information you have to prepare yourself, and then just fill in the box from the link at the Springer Nature, and then they will get back to you within probably a few days, because they need to see the idea, and then from there onwards they will be in contact with you. They will email you, and from there you can proceed with the proposal. They will give you information, further information on how to proceed with preparing a proposal and whatnot. Yes.
Okay. That is one way, Prof. The other way is what sometime I normally do, Prof, is to approach people personally. So I would text, can you take, because I've seen your chapters.
You are muted, Prof.
Unmute me.
Okay. You are now okay.
Sorry, Prof. Jauh dah cakap. I think I've read your chapters, Prof, and it's going to be a good book. And I would suggest ada satu apa ni chapter which talk about the case study, some case study. Let's say if you see the fish is not behaving normally, so what are the key thing to look for? Suppose they are the farmers, they should know what sort of behavior and so on for different fish. Then only they can more or less say, oh, this is this sort of behavior might be because of a certain organism or certain parasites that would cause that kind of behavior or that kind of deformation and so on. So that be very good, and then to show the steps of doing simple diagnosis in the field, meaning that without any tak ada bahan berat, that you can use knife and so on, and they can just examine in the field. So maybe from virus to bacteria to protozoa, then people can have some feeling about the case study, and with a good photograph and caption. So if you are using your handphone, you put on high definition photograph with 1 megabyte of memory for one photograph. Then I agree with Aqila saying that you can propose as a preliminary to Springer from your chapter study. You just expand a bit. For chapter 1, what would be in chapter 1 that you are going to talk about? Chapter 2, chapter 3. Suppose you are going to talk about bacteria. At least is it going to be a certain genus? It might not very specific, but a very general kind of group of bacteria or group of virus that you want to see, or maybe the parasites that you think are very important in Malaysia. And when I check in the internet, there is no book related to what you are thinking of. So to me, this is a blue ocean, Prof. There's no challenge. So you have to tell them that there is no competitor, and then the key point have to tell the publisher that this book can be used for third year and also final year student, and in Prof boleh bagi apa tu dia punya code number and the name of the courses in UMT, and if you know any other university using some reference that might be useful from local example, then you can say can be used by the vet faculty in UPM and University of Malaysia Kelantan. So for Springer, they wanted to see that they can make money, and meaning that they can sell the book. And you Prof boleh cakap buku ni juga boleh digunakan untuk kursus biodi, because it involve penyakit on the threat to the population of the fish that will be related to SDG, life underwater and so on. So tadi Aqila ada, you send the link, correct? So
yes, I did. I share it at the chat box. So there are 2 links. 5 simple steps to publishing a book with Springer, And then first thing first, they want to know our idea. So they set the following link tu adalah untuk the link to share your idea to Springer. So if they are interested, they will definitely in contact with you.
So what we did dulu dengan Aqila was we wrote the introduction as well, and then we also wrote the summary, and then we also wrote the back page they call blurb. So from there on, that one I can help for your, if you have the material, I can help untuk aturkan macam synopsis of your book and also the blurb of your book. And then seboleh-bolehnya ada orang lain lagi yang to take certain chapters. So boleh invite orang dekat faculty atau members from Aquatrop yang Prof kenal lah. So I think worth trying, Prof. So kalau ada katalah 3 orang, then that will be 3 author book, and you can be the principal author. But then the biggest challenge is to read all the chapters, Prof. So we have to read about 10 times, Prof. So among us, we have to read 10 times and time by 4 editors. So that is how much time that we have to read and spend. Because at the end of the day, we wanted to send a very reasonably good draft. And then when they accept, they will send it to their editors. They have about 5 editors. Well, I remember for the Orang Asli book, they have suggested to remove a chapter on the genetic of Orang Asli. So the reason being is a very controversial issue. So I have to call Aqila, say Aqila, I'm very sorry. I have to remove your your chapter from the Springer Nature book because the international reviewer feel that is very, very controversial. So we remove, and then we did the correction and send back, and they said, okay, they are going to do the typesetting. This is where we meet another challenge, Prof. If one of your corresponding author went missing, it would drag the entire book. So make sure the corresponding author is ready to reply, because they give you like 5 days, or sometimes they say we need this in 3 days. So kita tak boleh cakap dengan dia. Saya pernah cakap, sorry, I got meetings and so on, and dia marah. So dia suruh fokus pada buku juga, and itu yang Aqila cakap tadi, that there's a lot of commitment, dedication to make it come through. It's not impossible, Prof. It's possible, but saya rasa dekat Aquatrop tu ramai, Prof. Yang boleh Prof panggil, ataupun maybe Prof boleh cakap dengan Prof Ikhwan, and maybe dia boleh suggest certain names, but make sure he or she must have that commitment, Prof. Dia tak boleh buat halfway, nanti so frustrated. Tapi saya akan tolong to ensure certain part, the synopsis saya pandai untuk menggayakan, to convince them this is going to be good, is going to make money for them without saying that you are going to get rich, but they are going to sell the book. So normally we will say this book, because it's not available, nothing, there's no challenge, then all the library will buy the book. So kita kena sebut sampai ke tahap macam tu. And the student are going to buy because it's going to be, you are going to use this as part of your teaching for certain courses. So can I share the your skeletal punya chapter with Aqila to have a look?
Yeah, sure, Prof.
Okay, I'll share with you, Aqila, to get some ideas, and we try to help with this one, and we will try to help for your first submission to Springer untuk dia orang tengok whether this book is going to be a buy-in for them. Boleh, Prof?
Yeah.
Kita ada sekarang ni Prof Dato Abdul Latiff. Pok Teh, can you turn on your mic? Boleh turn on. Anybody boleh tolong turn on the mic for Pok Teh?
Yes, yes.
Oh, saya tak boleh. How to... okay, Pok Teh sudah turn on.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Selamat datang.
Oh, I'm
I want to see
sweating
you.
to get in. I mean, thanks to ID, both my son and me were trying. Well, put it this way, since yesterday and last night, I tried to send my PowerPoint to Mr. T and failed and failed and failed and failed. So Ideal came in to help me. At last, I think my son helped me. We transfer. Never heard of such thing before. So I think my slides are with Ideal now.
Okay, Aidil, can you share the slide and then Pok Teh can take the floor?
I'm so sorry because I am an idiot with regard to this kind of things, you know.
Jangan menyentuh.
No, honestly, I tak reti. Nice to see Effendi distantly.
Assalamualaikum, Dato.
Waalaikumsalam. Sihat ke?
Alhamdulillah, macam biasa.
Aidil boleh share the slide?
I will help share the slide.
Okay, tolong share the slide and then Prof bagi tahu to...
Why can't I see my face on the screen?
Oh, ini
Turn on your camera.
Disable the camera.
Video.
video kena turn on, Prof. Video ada.
I saw my no, not this slide.
Not this slide?
Hold on. Is it this slide? No. Oh my
Yes,
God.
your slide, Prof.
Oh, I
Oh,
can
that
see
is
you
something
now.
else.
Can see your face now?
Oh no, that is not my slide.
Your slide, Prof.
I must have sent the wrong one. Okay, let me share. Let me have a look again. I don't think. I let me
think
see
that's
again.
your
I don't think
slide.
that was a correct slide. The PowerPoint is called something for Prof Touch.
Yeah.
Let me see the slides again. It was something else. Oh, that was something else.
That's your name, Prof.
I know, but this is the perinology things.
Oh, I see.
Oh my God! No! This is the wrong slide. Sent.
But anyway, you can.
Okay, never mind.
You can start your story. It's okay from your
Hold
memory.
on. Let me open my desktop so
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you can guide me for talking.
Yeah, you just share. Ada button kat bawah. Underneath, there's a button called share. So you click that button.
Oh dear, dear, dear. Oh.
Wih, ini zaman bila ni, Prof? Tahun 2001.
During the pandemic.
Yeah, during the pandemic.
After so many hours of sweating and failing to send, at last I sent a wrong slide. I don't want to admit that I am senile or old, but I don't know what happened. Let me go to my slide to guide me. All right. Oh dear.
Okay, we wait for
Just
you.
Just kejap. The title of my PowerPoint is PowerPoint for Touch.
Oh.
I do not know why I sent the wrong one. Oh dear. Okay, never mind. I couldn't find in my I couldn't find on my desktop now. Okay, let me let me talk from my cuff. What Prof Tash asked me to share with you are really my experiences in writing two kinds of books. One is an academic book in botany on biodiversity, and the other one I think I shared with Prof Tash the other day, my autobiography.
Yeah.
I'll start with the first one. I think all of us academics are familiar with writing academic book. Just now I overheard Prof Effendi is joining the bandwagon now. Good. Prof Touch has done one on Springer, and I did once on the mangrove management with Springer a few years ago, with my wife. I said in my slide, I said, how do we begin writing a book? And my answer in the next slide was, I don't know. Because you remember when we started as an academic, I started in 1979, January. It was not mandatory to write any book then. Except I did 2 translations of a book, and that was easier. Translation is always easier than writing a book. But I did translate 2 books. I did translate 2 books. One was they call it Introduction to Plant Taxonomy, which I use for my classes, or rather I forced my students to buy. The other one was Biological Nomenclature by Charles Jeffrey of Kew. That was a small book. Dewan Bahasa Pustaka published my translation. And as I said, it was not an obligation then to write any book. And furthermore, we were just starting as a lecturer. What do we write? There were no new data generated through research, and there wasn't serious research then. So I have not been writing book honestly when I was very active as a lecturer, except editing. As Prof Tash was saying, this was easier people wrote the manuscript, chapters of books, or even articles for the proceeding, and we received them. We went through and baiki sana sini, and we put our name as one of the editors. So I did editing work for many years, and I think altogether I have edited more than 27 proceeding for the Jabatan Perhutanan Semenanjung Malaysia and also Jabatan Perhutanan Negeri-Negeri yang berkenaan. That was easier. I started writing seriously was a few years ago. By then, I've retired. Nothing else to do. And as I said again, it was not obligatory for us to write any book. After all the textbooks are there in the bookshop and in the library. And it was useless, I thought, to repeat what people have written more 100% better than what I could do. So nothing happened, except when I started writing my memoir during the COVID-19 inactivity. So I started writing my memoir purely on my academic career at the university from 1974 to 2014 when I finished my contract. So it was a memory of what I did at UKM for the last nearly 40 years, and I call my memoir Membina Keupayaan Sains Botani di Malaysia. So what I did right was simply what did I do to build up the capacity, the botanical capacity in the country. So namely lecturing, supervising, advising students, and after you supervise more than 80 final year student, more than 60 master student, and 37 or 38 PhD student. That's what I thought, building the botanical capacity in Malaysia. In other words, my botanical graduates has spread to all the universities, including yours. I've got one, Sabah Sarawak, and also in the government department. So that was my memoir. When I finished that, I sent to UKN Press, and I think I've been waiting for years now. It is still in the galley proof. Then I move on to what I said to Dato Taj. I wrote I call it Diaries of a Botanist. You know, Diaries of a Botanist are 754 pages of them all. You know, Taj, I carry a diary in my pocket. Buku 35 in my pocket. So from 1973 until now, I still carry this stupid diary in my pocket. And I wrote sorry, I'm swearing, bloody things in my diary. Of course, I have my executive diary on my table where I wrote more swearing things. And now I've got a computer, something called computer, a machine which I type what happened every day in my life, you know. So I wrote that 754 pages of them all from 1973 until now, until 2022. So it is been formatted now. I call it Diaries of a Botanist. You know, I just orang kata apa, luahkan everything what I wrote in my diaries, all kinds of things. You know the kind of lectures I gave, the kind of supervision I gave, the quarrel I did with my students, the and also the botanical quarrels among peers. All those things were inside. Then I finished that. Then I went to what I shared with Dato Tash is, I call it my autobiography. Normally, people outside there, the politician, the rich people, they wrote, they asked somebody to write his or her biography. They got money to pay somebody to write, and that is easier because when somebody wrote about you, mm, he or she is free to tell anything about you, of course, with your consent lah. Mahathir wrote himself, but there was an editor. But lah, somebody wrote for him. Robert Cook, somebody wrote for him, and the list can go on. But I decided, to write myself. That's why I call it autobiography, meaning the history about myself. I decided to write by myself because I didn't have money to pay Dato Tash to write for me. So I wrote myself, but nevertheless, I showed Dato Tash, and he gave many superlatives about the content, the kerangka content, and I took it as his forward. And then he decided to write another page of epilogue, and I have decided to take it. And he asked me to ask somebody else to write the forward for my biography. I said, no, I love what Dato Tash has written. I mean, he praised me so much, right down to the seventh layer of sky, the kind of Isra Mi'raj he wrote about me. But that's the kind of thing. When somebody wrote about you, you smile, you are happy because Dato Tash think I was an angel, So, but when I wrote it myself, I think Dato Tash can share this, Fendi can share also. It is so difficult, as I said in my diary, meletakkan diri kita di dalam bako atau tempayan dan usung sendiri. And that was not my personality. I don't like to praise myself. So I share with Dato Tash what I wrote in my autobiography, 18 chapters of them. I started with telling about my family, where I was born, how I was born, about my mother, about my father, about my siblings, and about my uncle, everything. All first chapter is all, I call it keluarga besar, big family. Chapter 2, I went to say budak kampung, mean a village boy telling the reader what did I do as a village boy. Kenakalan, bermain itu, bermain ini, laga ikan, all sort of thing as a naughty boy in the kampung. That's what then I went to chapter 3, I call it pendidikan awal. Pendidikan awal encompasses mengaji Al-Quran dengan 3 guru Al-Quran dan sekolah rendah. Sekolah rendah. Sekolah Melayu rendah. Chapter 4, it is called bersekolah Inggeris di Banda. In 1959, I went to Merbau English School in Kota Baru. So I wrote about my Specimily 1, Specimily 2, and Standard 6, my notoriety, my friends. Chapter 5 was, I went to secondary school, which is Maktab Sultan Ismail. I wrote about what did I do in Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, Form 4, Form 5, Lower 6, Upper 6. My friends, my girlfriend, my teachers, and all the crazy thing I did as a student. Then I went. The next chapter was menjejaki Menara Gading. In 1969, I went to University of Malaya. Then I wrote what I did in Form 1 of year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. And then next chapter, I call it Reading University. When in 1974, I went to do my master PhD, I wrote what I did during my PhD and all kinds of things. Then the next chapter was I wrote about, I call it Kerjaya di UKM. This is a very big chapter. You know, when I started lecturing December 78 until I retired 2004, and I got 4 contracts up to 2015, and I wrote everything, the fight I've got with the boss, with the vice chancellor, with everybody. I wrote about, you know, the kind of research. Then there was a chapter on research and penerbitan, you know, the kind of research I did, why I did, and the kind of publication I did, why I did. And there was a chapter called Mengenal Tenis dan Golf. See, what happened was I started playing tennis when I was in Reading, and I continued playing tennis at UKM. Then I changed to golf. Now I call it an armchair golf player, an armchair soccer player, because I watch television only. Then I went on to a chapter on botany, keperbagian biologi, dan ekspedisi saintifik. So I thought about my inspiration as a botanist that jumped on the bandwagon into biodiversity, and through expedition I exploited many forests in Malaysia to understand biodiversity, either ecosystem diversity, species diversity, and genetic diversity. Then there was a chapter on countries that I visited in my lifetime. I think there were about 44 countries in the world which I visited. Then there was a chapter on my activity in scientific organization and NGOs. You know, I was active in scientific organization and Malaysian Nature Society and all the societies, and I was active in WWF and Purabani Foundation. That took one chapter. Another chapter was, I call it, what was it? Anugerah, pengiktirafan, dan juga kehormatan. Meaning anugerah here, all the awards I received. I explain why, who nominated, then how I took it. Then it went on to people naming species after me, either botanical species or animal species. Then there was a chapter which I call Kejayaan. This is the most difficult. My success. And they were together with kegagalan. You know, in every success there were failures, and there were many failures. And kejayaan, kegagalan, dan kekesalan, the regrets I've got. There are many regrets I've got. And the last chapter, I think 18, I call it Remaja Purba. The reason, it's very funny. Mula-mula I tulis pasca kontrak. One Friday, I came out from Solat Jemaah. I met all the retirees dekat Anjung Masjid, and we were talking, and one of them, I tak ingat siapa, kata kita ni semua remaja purba, maknanya hati muda tapi umur dah tua and getting senile and getting forgetful. So I wrote that chapter, the last chapter, I call it Remaja Purba. That was a climax. So that I call it autobiography. Now the file is 237 pages, excluding gambar-gambar, which I intend to put all the gambar girlfriend, gambar anak, gambar kawan, everything. So coming back to writing a book in botany, also when at the late stage in our life, I realized that I've got so much data accumulated in any particular topic that I chose. So I wrote a book on Pulau Pangkor. Satu Pulau Pangkor, yang kedua hutan simpan Aqila di Johor, yang ketiga hutan simpan Bana Bau, hutan simpan Bangi Forest Reserve, dan hutan simpan Pasuh. And there were 7 of them all. I wrote the book. They are all in UKM Press, because by then I've got so much data on, let's say, on wild fruit trees, data on fern, data on flowering plant, data on the dynamics of ecology, data of that particular locality, let's say Pulau Pangkor or Taman Negara. So then I decided to sit down and start writing books and writing books. But to cut our discussion short, it is not fair for the young people, unless they are geniuses, to write books of that kind, of that caliber, because of the experience yang belum mantap lagi, and of the data generated belum banyak lagi. But at later age, let's say Effendi boleh dah sekarang dia dah mantap. But I feel now I am in real position to write because there's so much data on the shelf. So, and now I'm conceptualizing a book called Essays in Taxonomy, a chapter like Species for Sale. You know, why? Because there were incidents in the West, and it could happen in our country. If Tajuddin wants me to write to name a species in his honor, I ask 1,000 ringgit. I call it species for sale, such a thing. And I keep question biody for whom, you know, kind of heritage, and question like, why do scientists change name? Then question like, can a taxonomist revise one big family? You know, thing like that. For example, can Prof Taj revise all the bats in Malaysia? You know, thing like that. I keep question. So I'm beginning to be more, I would say, cynical in a way, and more objective in now, at the very right age now. So that was all the slides that I wanted to share, which I sent to ID, and he received the wrong one. Sorry. They explain, you know, the kind of sweat I have been suffering since yesterday in Anta. I don't know why my computer dulu I can easily send, kalau ada conference kan, I can easily send PowerPoint to the organizers. In fact, now I'm thinking I've got a conference on the 28th ni dekat UPM on the biody reference collection. I do not know how to send. Maybe I've got to bring my PowerPoint to the organizers on the 28th on Monday. Dulu boleh. I've got two accounts. One is Yahoo yang tak benarkan file besar. The other one I've got Gmail. Yang kedua-dua buat perangai. And just now, send the wrong file on terminology. I'm so sorry. My apologies. So I can send the slides later on, and I can share with you even by, I think, WhatsApp or itu, the kind of cranker skeleton of all my books, just, you know, to encourage you, just to motivate you, you know. But I must say for you, Aqila, whom I don't think I have met you, Aqila, and also for Prof Effendi, kalau boleh write article for the journal first now. Books can take orang kata apa, sideline, kecuali you ada free time lah. Bukan apa, untuk memantapkan penulisan buku, you must be very free of your KPIs. No, your KPIs are really daunting you and pressing you. But Prof Effendi can start writing a memoir now, can start writing a book on his specialty slowly. And I think Prof Effendi, you dah bagi dah inaugural lecture.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So that is what I call it a stepping stone, because inaugural lecture dah 50-70 pages, spelling out your research punya endeavors, your finding. You expand that, you know, into a book that is jolly good. So people like Taj and others who are not so orang kata apa, pressed with KPI, can start doing you know, what I say. To be honest, what happened is this. there was somebody called Professor P. Pulaya in India, whom I've never met. We corresponded through email saja. Every time, I don't know how he got my name. He asked me to write a chapter for, again, this kind of Springer publication. So I wrote one on biodiversity of Malaysia. I wrote on invasive species. The last one I wrote on botanical gardens in Malaysia. And the other day he asked me to write a chapter on wetland, livelihood and conservation in Malaysia. So I said yes, but I've not given any thought yet. So this is the kind of thing people in India, being an editor of big book like what Aqila and Prof Taj was talking, I call it throwing dia jala all over the world. So bila dia buat katalah wetlands in Asia Pacific, so a chapter by me on of Malaysia is combined with wetland Indonesia, wetland Vietnam, wetland blah 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 blah. So dia dapat buku, dia dapat duit, dia dapat nama, dia dapat everything. But I said to myself, I don't lose anything by writing. I don't get paid. I got a paper, but then for what? I don't need paper anymore after retirement. But I thought, well, if I can contribute something to the knowledge, that's good enough. But I think this Professor Pulaya is making money in India because, because he became the editor and he scout around out the world. Even for the biodiversity book, one for Asia, one from Africa, one from South America, one for Europe, that kind of thing. And that sells like anything because, but I couldn't buy 5 books biodiversity of 5 continents that cost thousands of USD. Even for the Asia, the one I've got one chapter inside, I couldn't buy. Mahal, gila-gila. But I've got a chapter in it. So gitulah pengalaman saya. So once again, my apologies of sending the wrong file. Betapa when you are in a hurry, when you are in distress, then you make mistakes. Just like driving lah. Kalau kita in a hurry, you're bound to knock somebody along the road. So once again, if you have any question, and if I can answer, I will. Thank you, sir.
Terima kasih Prof Dato Latiff, yang juga antara mereka yang memberi inspirasi bagi saya, dan seorang lagi yang selalu memberi inspirasi ialah the late Dr. Lim Boliat, which we have published a volume or an issue in Malay Nature Journal. So the reason that I call for writing of book is to mentor, for mentoring of young people, because we have to hold their hands and pull them so that they know how to handle things, and one day they will pull some other people to contribute a chapter. And in UMT, the chapter in your book is considered as a paper in your publication, so it's counted, Dato', dikira oleh university for the chapter in the book. But normally we request them to have multi-author, bukan single author. So maybe one paper they have 1 or 2 people to work, and they divide the work equally, something like that. So tadi saya nampak komen daripada Prof Fazila. Yeah, you want to say anything?
Yeah, somebody wrote, dia kata, I think I have met Prof Pulaya in India. Good of you, from Fazila Adiba. I've never met, I don't know him, but I've been serving him 4 times already.
You want to say something, Prof Fazila?
Hello?
Yeah, dengar.
Okay. I think we are Datuk Patih ni, I never met you, but always inspired. I think your first book, I think buku pasal tumbuhan herba. I think your very thick
Yes.
book. I remember. I banyak refer to that. I think from
You
that
know,
book yang saya.
Fadila, what was the history behind that? You know, do you know? All this while, kita do refer Berkil kan?
Yes, I know. That's
Yes.
why I was looking at Berkil and then.
So, I kata apa tahu? Berkil ditulis oleh orang putih dalam bahasa Inggeris. I'm so jealous. So I dengan my former student Prof Kamarudin wrote a book, tumbuh-tumbuhan obatan Malaysia warna putih tu.
Betul.
Out of print. That was history. I was so jealous of Berkil. I wrote one in bahasa Malaysia.
tapi Datuk, in that book saya dapat jumpa nama pokok. Saya ramai kenal orang-orang yang kenal herba, and then dia tunjuk saya satu pokok and dia kata tak tahu nama apa, and then I cari dalam Berkil tak jumpa and I found it in your book.
Thank you. You know what I'm writing now, or rather what I'm compiling now? I think the ladies should take. I'm about to start writing, or not rather compiling articles by women biologists.
Okay.
So I call my project Biodiversity and Women. And I've got in my list now about 20 plus orang whom I know offhand from all universities and institute, and I wanted to invite them to write an essay, what Pulaya has been doing, a chapter each, and I wanted to pray to display what women biologists in Malaysia have contributed to biodiversity conservation and research. So I've got a list of 20 plus, and I've got a format written to send to these putative authors. So any ladies whom you know in BioD who wanted to contribute, just send your name. I'll with the email. I'll send you the invitation. And the reason is because I wanted to show, the women expert in our country sudah kita kata menyumbang sesuatu dalam kepelbagaian biologi. But I am trying to get the old and the young from all universities, from all disciplines, zoology, botany, microbiology. So far, the name from UMT that come to my mind because I tak kenal you lagi. As expected, I've got Ligit Yi on my list, and I've got Jarina Wetland on my list. So, if kalau Aqila ke kalau Fadilah are interested to get my invitation, then you send my name, touch tahu patih48yahoo.com. Thank you.
Okay, terima
Sorry,
kasih.
Fadilah, you know this Pulaya?
I met him, and then for a few days lah, we were discussing. In fact, I was about to invite him to UMT.
What kind of person is he? A good guy?
Very, very nice.
Oh, I don't know him.
Very nice guy. And
From
then
where? From where? Which part of India?
Kita pergi Hyderabad and then turun sampai ke bawah lah, and then masa tu ada conference di India, so they invite us. So dalam conference, banyak conference tu ada dah dia ni. So dia tunjuklah buku-buku dia.
Very persistent person.
Yeah, true. Dia tunjuk buku-buku dia, buku pasal all the biodiversity, all those books lah.
Mahal-mahal.
So
Any question, GE, you want to say something?
Oh, GE ada?
Yes, of course.
GE, KE?
Let me turn on her
Tak ada tu?
screen.
I think she's online.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Dato?
KE ada ke?
Yeah, there, I'm here.
Hey, you have not replied my inquiry. Are you interested to join?
Which one?
Mossy Forest.
No, I didn't receive anything, pun.
Ayoyo, no wonder you have been quiet. All right, I'll send you again. On
Okay.
11 to 14 next month, Jabatan Perhutanan Pahang is organizing an expedition to Mossy Forest. So I have sent something to you, inviting you to contribute on the hepatology.
No, I didn't receive anything.
Ayoyo, apa ni, duduk di hotel, makan di hotel, buat kerja on Mossy Forest.
No, I want.
Okay. You can bring 2 assistants if you want to.
Okay.
Okay. I will email you back. Oh, no
Okay.
wonder you have been quiet. But I have sent your name to Jabatan Perhutanan Pahang because 3 muscologists are coming. Yong Kian Tai, Nick Hazrina, and Salwa or something. Sawadi. Okay. Any question, KE?
I think so far I already started to write 2 books. One is about the guidebook to the Liverpool and Hornwood of Malaysia. That took me 2 years and 3 years. And then the second book is the Dictionary of Biodiversity. That is even worse. Took me 6 years. So I would like to ask your experience. Like I'm still in my very not so beginning, already mid. Do you advise us to write books, or maybe like sampai nak pencen baru tulis buku, because it's really it's really time consuming, but in my heart that I like, because for the guidebook of Liverpool and Hornwood, I think it's very good because we don't have it in Malaysia, and then the student can use it, and then I prepare all the key, and also I drew all the 124 genus. So from the book you can identify Liverpool and Hornwood at least to the genus level. So that I in my heart that I have a dream that I want to produce the Liverpool flora. Yeah, like I have description of each species. Like we don't have it in Malaysia for Liverpool. Like I think that would be 4-5 volumes. So like, should I start now or should I start later, or is it still necessary?
Forgive me, KE, because I was talking through my experience,
Yeah.
because but now if you are in the mid of your career, your KPIs are still very important. People would like to see your articles in a journal, your chapters in a book, your contribution in that way. But what you were saying just now was correct. Suffice to say, if you can write a book on a very general book, how do you recognize bryophytes, the 3 division of bryophyte? How do you collect them? How do you identify them? And a little bit on how do you classify them? Illustrate that with examples. To students of university and to the layman. That's good enough. I think you can do that quite easily. I saw this many in England, and that is for the public. That is it's easy. A chapter on how do you recognize a liverwort, how do you recognize a hornwort, how do you recognize lumut jati, how do you collect them, what to do, what not to do, how do you curate them, that kind of thing, and plus.
Yeah.
But then as you get the momentum, you can go deeper a little bit about the diversity of, let's say, liverworts in Malaysia. But then again, ask your heart. Tanya hati masing-masing. What do you want to do? How much spare time do you have? But do not neglect the fundamental, because in order to get promoted, university are looking for, that kind A, B, C, D, E, F, G. As I said just now, I did it for fun. You don't make money. I did it for dispensing the knowledge to whoever who wanted to know. So you cannot do all. Slowly. By the way, the encyclopedia dah keluar ke belum?
Yeah, we already submitted to the penerbit.
Yeah, honestly, what happened is any book, it takes time. I don't know why. I think it's a cost, possibly, because my memoir has been 3 to 4 years now. I think university may not have enough money to pay for it. That's why I am paying myself for my diaries of a botanist. Don't worry, his name are all in my 3 books. Even
Thank you, Dato.
in my memoir, I got a picture of you. Do you remember I asked for a picture of you?
Really?
Yeah, I put a superlative because you are the only hepatocologist in the country.
Yeah, I'm very honored.
No. Tash ada sebut tadi. We are doing this for the next generation.
Yeah.
I would say I'm trying to do this for the people in the 30s and 40s. Hopefully, they can do 3 times better than we are doing now. So when you get older to 50s and 60s, you will do the same thing, successively. Then you get what I consider capacity in our country to do such thing. All the best. Don't give up.
Dato, I think I have lots of idea what to write, what to publish books lah. I think publishing books is very different. The satisfaction, the fulfillment is very different from publishing article journal. So they very pleasure, and then you get something so satisfactory. So I have lots of ideas that I want to publish, and then I also discussed with Dr. Nick that why don't we do a
I tell you what, all
Yeah.
your ideas, register it in a file in your PCs. Because bukan apa, I'm not saying that you will forget, but as a reminder. I've got my, I call it crazy ideas. The file is crazy ideas. All the crazy ideas that was in my mind, I put down in that file just to remind me. Whether I could do it in my lifetime, that's a different matter altogether. But get the ideas expanded, then discuss with friends. Allow friend boleh chip in here and there. But you must be selective with your friend. Some friends become parasites. Some friends become epiphytes. Yes, you know all the habit. But cordially discuss with friends, your peers, and you will enjoy. I bet you will enjoy.
Tapi Dato, university is not recognizing the book publications, So it's like even we put our efforts, we publish book, tapi like for promotion, for KPI is not the university is not so encouraging lah, I would say lah. So do you think like in my timeline should I like continue the book publication or just slowly start?
No, it is true for all the universities in the country called Malaysia. There is a country called Malaysia. In all the universities, the idiots that hold the vice chancellor and also on do not recognize this kind of competence, this kind of I call it expertise. They are on the KPI Q1, Q2, but forgive them because they have got their job to do. But sebagai kita, sebagai pensyarah, as I said just now, your KPIs, your papers in the journal, your number one priority. Prof said just now, chapters in a book is equivalent to also an article in a journal. All right, that's another priority. and you have other priorities, if you have a spare time, you know, in your spare time, macam baru ni COVID, banyak spare time, then slowly build up. You know, if you write something, a page a day, sebulan dia dapat 30 pages or so. So your idea keep coming and you just write. And to be honest, that's what I did. When I drove by car, I'm thinking what I want to do. Immediately when I stop my car, I text dalam apa ni, my handphone. Then when I get back to my desktop, I transfer my ideas, so that you get the ideas building. You know, macam orang buat apa ni, dinding dengan batu bata lah. First butter, the second butter, the third butter. By the time you realize, you get a dinding of, you know, that bricks, red bricks. Gitu aja. But be sustainable. I think after all, you're a journal of sustainability. You're editor there. Be sustainable. No. I believe in that. You know, sedikit-sedikit menjadi bukit. But keep on doing.
Okay.
Terima kasih Dato' and also GI. When I started contributing for book chapters, I was in the 30s and the 40s. And I remember contributing to some of these ASM books. I think there was one with Potte, and there was one with Prof Dekan from UM, Prof Muhammad. And yeah, and then also contributed chapter with Yayasan Sabah group. So, but then again, I was in the dark, and there was nobody who really would show you, hold your hand and show you how to get a book done. So when I came here, I find time to talk to a lot of people, and I said, well, we are going to train young people, and from hundreds of lecturers, there are some macam Aqila, GI, who came forward and said they like to do that. But I never asked anybody to do a solo book, Dato'. So I always say that they have to work as a team, and they have to team up with others to be editors as well as to be authors. But at the end of the day, is to get a very good book. And the reason why I would say Springer, because after we published in Springer, then suddenly I was getting an invitation from people I don't know, from journal I don't know, and they sometimes quote, I saw your name in the book and blah, 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 blah. So to me, I think Springer Nature really opens up the world for you. I've been publishing in Malaysia, only Malaysian know us. But once you publish with Springer, the name will stick there. And I think from our first book, GI's paper is the most, the top paper been downloaded, yang paling tinggi, downloaded because tidak ada knowledge of liverworth in Malaysia. So bila somebody publish on that chapter, so I think they bought that chapter and they download. So that is the beauty of getting everybody into one book. And then regarding your friend, Professor Pulaya, I don't know how he did that, but with our group, every author would receive a copy, Prof. Semua orang dapat satu kopi, the author, betul ya, ni Aqila, everybody got a copy. So
I don't get it. I did not get it.
So something is wrong with this Pulaya guy. So when Springer offer us about, I don't know, about 1,500 Swiss francs, so we told Springer managing editor, something like that, we say, please convert that money into equivalent of the book. Then they convert that and we distribute all the books to all the contributor for apa ni, Kenya. So everybody got a copy, and then we make a hard deal with them that the editors should have a bit more because they are spending a lot of time reading 10 times per paper. So they agree and give us a bit more, and then we can give to our decan, give to our VC, and so on. So maybe the Pulaya guy did not deal like that and took all the royalty. So so kalau dia ambil semua royalty, then of course you don't have the book. Tapi when we deal with them, we make sure we tell them directly that we would appreciate to receive copy for everybody who contribute for that volume. So itu yang berbeza. Dan tadi ada Aqila beritahu, even we request the logo of the university to be printed on the spine of the book. Then I wrote a letter to our university publication, Jabatan Kuasa Publication, and they granted the permission to have our logo, and then of course the Springer Nature logo. So actually you can deal with them, but the only thing is that they owe the copyright. And if you want to get the copyright, you have to pay a lot of money. And itu saja yang our experience lah. So alhamdulillah, from this effort, there I saw there are a lot of potential young editors and young writers, Prof. So tak macam saya dulu. Mencari-cari siapa nak jadi mentor saya nak menulis, nak publish buku. Tak ada orang nak mentor, Prof. Tak ada orang. So tak ada profesor yang nak pegang tangan kita, nak tarik kita, tak ada. So at least kalau saya dah pencen, habis kontrak, I knew ada Aqila, ada GI, ada Zalipa, ada Safilola, and few more yang ada yang dah tahu how to deal with international publisher and so on. So hopefully they would give another opportunity to the younger, their juniors, to be on board with them to publish at the international level.
Benar. For example, masa kita mula-mula bagi lecture dulu, tak ada orang yang mengajar kita.
Yeah.
Apabila kita nak menyelia student, sama ada honor student atau master PhD, juga tak ada our peers, our senior yang membantu kita. And saya rasa dalam pentadbiran, dalam penerbitan, dalam semua termasuk dalam tulis buku, I tak faham kenapa budaya kita macam ini, iaitu budaya keep to oneself all the time, sombong. But at least, as you said just now, there was a desire in you, in me, in Effendi, and in others to transfer the little knowledge we have throughout our years to the next generation to take up, and hopefully the next generation will, take up to the next generation. So a discussion like this is very fruitful, Tash, to create an awareness of a new budaya yang sudi berkongsi pengalaman, yang berkongsi kita kata sumbangan. I think this is something yang saya rasa boleh kita tabik lah, salute. But how many people are doing this? You can count by your fingers, because it doesn't pay. Mungkin ada perasaan, tak berapa friendly, who knows. But sifat kita sebegini, I take pride, if my students or if my mentee can do twice better than I ever did.
Correct.
I'll be proud. Sama juga kita dengan anak kita. Kalau anak kita menjadi lebih baik daripada kita, we take pride as a father, as a parent. Sama juga dengan anak murid kita, I will take pride walaupun mantan anak murid, how much boleh kita bagi, but saling mendorong to remotivate, saling mengingati. That is the only way forward. That's how we can build, the capacity. Otherwise, kalau kita masih bersikap aku, mum, kemana kita nak pergi? Ya, kita akan pergi, mereka akan pergi. Tapi as a nation, as a science, tak jauh lah kita kata perjalanan itu.
Saya berpandangan kalau setiap universiti ada anchor. That was what I was trying to do. Ada anchor di setiap universiti. So that's why I was inviting every representative of every university and NGO. So for the first talk, itu hari ada from several universities, including from the private university pun join the discussion and so on. And then we also try to invite other authors to share their experience and share their knowledge. Itu yang kita fikir akan berlaku dalam masa terdekat ni lah, Prof. So kalau
This is the beginning. If you can do it again, and kali ni you jemput publishers. Sama ada university publishers or private publishers.
Boleh.
I think that is the way forward, because kadang-kadang mereka di luar sana dia tak tahu aspirasi kita. Dia tak tahu apa yang kita boleh buat. Dia tunggu manuskrip jatuh ke riba. Oh, you buat ni ke? Begitu dia tanya. Oh, you ada ni ke? Macam itulah. Jadi kalau kita ada peluang berhubung dengan publishers or even printers, I think that will be a great forward bagi saya.
Do you remember the previous pengarah penerbit UKM, Profesor lelaki? I think I will try to.
Roslan.
Saya tak ingat lah, Prof.
Roslan Abdul Syukur.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe I try to contact him.
Oh, yeah.
I try to contact him and ask him to talk to.
Oh, anytime. I think he sure anytime.
Yeah,
He's a good
and
guy.
we will listen to the publisher, and also we try to get other publisher to talk, and maybe a private publisher as well. So saya rasa tak ada lagi yang nak kita bincang. Maybe next forum, Prof. Terima kasih banyak, Prof. Terima kasih banyak kerana memberi peluang. Dan dalam chat box ada Haji Razali beritahu kalau nak join grup Yayasan Pembangunan Buku Negara. Dia kata dia boleh menguruskan WhatsApp group tersebut, dan dia ada bagi phone number yang tertera dalam tu 0137438944. So dia akan masuk dalam grup pembangunan buku negara.
Good. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah. So maybe the next also we can ask Tan Sri to talk about this Yayasan Pembangunan Buku Negara, dan mungkin kita dengar apa pandangan beliau dan how they can build this nation of young writers, young editors and so on, Prof. So Prof Effendi, anything to add before we say goodbye?
Assalamualaikum, Prof.
Waalaikumsalam.
Silakan.
Assalamualaikum. Mohon izin untuk bercakap sedikit.
Sila.
Alhamdulillah, Prof. Syukur atas platform ini. Yang pertama berkaitan dengan hasrat Tan Sri Abdul Latiff Bakar, pengerusi Yayasan Pembangunan Buku Negara, untuk menyokong apa juga yang dilakukan oleh Profesor Dato Dr. Tajuddin bersama tim serta Profesor Madya Dr. Muhammad Saifulullah. Jadi that's why saya menyeru kepada semua untuk menyertai WhatsApp group yang saya namakan Think Tank Buku Negara, untuk kita bersama-sama membincangkan, bukan hanya untuk menjemput private printers ataupun semua juga pembuat dasar di Malaysia ni, bagi memandang serius apa yang dibangkitkan oleh Profesor Datuk Dr. Tajuddin dan tim kita pada hari ini. Sebab saya nampak inilah masanya untuk kita mengembalikan orang kata, dan menggalakkan penulis-penulis dalam bidang akademik agar mengangkat dan juga memartabatkan buku kita ke arah lebih jauh. Malah Tan Sri Abdul Latiff Bakar bersetuju dan untuk menyediakan tapak rumahnya untuk aktiviti-aktiviti ini. Jadi itu saya amat menjemput, mengharapkan lebih ramai yang nak menyertai WhatsApp group ini, bukan untuk kita WhatsApp biasa, tetapi WhatsApp group yang mengisi dan juga mengetengahkan idea-idea untuk bertindak. Sebab saya akan jadi sekretariat untuk tindakan yang kita akan nampaklah pembangunan buku negara ni lebih menjurus kepada matlamat kita nanti, sebab melahirkan generasi penulis yang berkualiti. Saya nampak Profesor Datuk Dr. Tajuddin ni perjuangannya amat baik. Jadi saya menyokong dan menawarkan diri untuk membantu merealisasikan impian kita bersama. Dan saya amat bersetuju pada Profesor Datuk Dr. Latiff tadi untuk menjemput bukan hanya printer universiti ataupun penerbit universiti, tetapi daripada luar, dalam dan insya-Allah luar negara. Itu saja daripada saya, Prof. Datuk Dr. Tajuddin.
Okey, Prof Fendi ada apa nak di...
Saya enjoy this session sebenarnya, Prof. Dan saya nak minta maaf pada Poteh sebab susahkan dia itu. Terima kasih banyak, Poteh.